Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. Darrell Owens, aka. Well, I'm just messing with everybody. Hey, look, everybody, it's here. Episode 200 of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, and of course, airing on Bowie Television. I want to thank everybody for uh, just everything, over the last 5 years when I started this project. It was just something I wanted to do for fun, while COVID was going on, and I wanted to start something different. And it has been a lot of fun in the process. I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of great people, interview a lot of great people, hoping for season 7, which will be coming in June, early July, to interview more great people. So I just, before I even get started with this amazing episode, or at least amazing for me, but amazing episode as the Super Bowl 60 preview, I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. This has been a lot of fun, and all the people that have had positive feedback over the time frame. Now, with all that fun stuff being said, episode 200 is here, and we got a lot to go over. We got a Super Bowl happening today at 6:30 on Peacock, where the number 1 seed Seattle Seahawks, the NFC champions, will take on the AFC champions, the number 2 seed New England Patriots. We got to talk about those AFC championship games, the Pro Bowl. We've got new Hall of Famers locked and loaded, and we've got the NFL awards, which also happened this week. So let's get into it. Episode 200 of One on One starts now. One.
Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Yeah, that's trick. No, what's up, everybody? Once again, thank you all for tuning in for episode 200 of One on One. We are airing here at noon, so we are about 6 hours and maybe a little bit. They say 6:30, but it's probably more like 6:18, and that's what it usually is. But we're just about 6 hours away from Super Bowl 60, a milestone for them, a milestone for here on One-on-One today at episode 200. And we got 2 teams in there that probably nobody wanted to get to go in there. But it wasn't the Chiefs. A lot of people are like, oh, finally we get including myself, we're like, oh, finally we're gonna get a Super Bowl that doesn't involve the Chiefs. Maybe the Eagles, depending on how it all lands out. And somehow, some way, an old friend returned to join us in the Super Bowl after many years of just bombarding us with Super Bowl wins and Super Bowl appearances. The New England Patriots have somehow found their way back into the Super Bowl. So just when you thought you got rid of the Chiefs, guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back again. We've got the New England Patriots back in the mix. But we also have a team that hasn't been in the Super Bowl since the last time they faced this team, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. So the Seattle Seahawks are making their this will be their, I believe, their 4th Super Bowl appearance, and they are currently 1-2, so they're trying to even it up. They faced the Steelers way back in, I believe it was 2006, then Ben Roethlisberger's first Super Bowl win, and then they finally got back when they took on the Broncos back in, I think it was 2013. So when they took on the Broncos in 2013, we saw them go in and get a win, there in just beautiful fashion. And then we saw them the next year take on the Patriots, which was the last time they were there, and they lost a tough one, a game that they probably should have won. But we say all that to say this: the Super Bowl is locked and loaded and set. But we got to get into a couple other things before we even talk about the game itself, or really get into where I feel like this game is going to go. But it was a very, very interesting, week this past week. So I want to get into the Pro Bowl first, and then I will get into all the other stuff that happened and recap the AFC and NFC Championship games. The Pro Bowl happened this week, and I'm just gonna read off this because I ain't gonna lie to you. Your boy didn't even like fully watch this bad boy, but final score on that bad boy was 66-52. 66-52. NFC getting the dub in the Pro Bowl flag football. It was fun. We saw some nice moments from Michael Parsons out there on the scooter. He wanted to play. The referee said, "Nah, bro, you can't get in there." Shador Sanders was out there. Joe Flacco. Somebody made fun of it, saying, "Hey, look, the Browns have two quarterbacks, or had two quarterbacks make the Pro Bowl, and we're 5-12." But that's not the only thing. We'll talk about that when we get into the NFL awards. But the Browns, individually maybe had a better year than they had as a team. So, but yeah, NFC games, I think this is probably the way that they're going to be the best way for them to do it now. Not to highlight the Pro Bowl as much. I think people have to get the fact that the Pro Bowl is not what it used to be out of their minds. Like when I was a kid, the Pro Bowl was a lot of fun. You had all the stars there. They were out there giving it their all in the Pro Bowl, and you looked forward to it. Now the Pro Bowl is a shell of itself, is nothing what it used to be. And now you just have to look at it as a fun activity where a lot of the players get together from different teams and just have fun. Now the Pro Bowl is more of an honor. Hey, I made the All-Star team, but I don't really want to participate. And that part sucks for the NFL fan. And I don't know how the NFL changes that. They've tried, and if players are injured, they can't make it, then they it's their right to say we don't want to play. But it's sad that the NFL has gotten to that, or the players have gotten to the point where they don't even want to participate in the game. Now, that's not everybody, but there's a nice chunk of them that said, nope, I don't want to. And it's been happening for years. Unfortunate, but glad that it seemed like it was a good time for the kids and good time for fans that to at least joy and have fun just to be out there. So maybe that's just what it is from now on. Things change over time, so you just kind of got to go with it. Now, let's go into talking about the NFC and AFC championship games. The championship games were probably not what people, wanted. Now, granted, your boy here has just jinxed the mess out of the last, like the last 3 years in the championship game. I'm 0-2 in each game. I've not gotten one right in my predictions. So I do apologize for all those teams, the Ravens and the Lions from a couple of years ago. I apologize to the Commanders and the Bills from last year. And this year, I apologize to the Rams and the Broncos. Because once again, my prediction of having you winning has cost you a trip to the Super Bowl. And I do apologize. There's nothing else I can do about it. I'm sorry. So sorry. Maybe I'll get it right next year. But if you're a betting person, I will say this: if you are a betting person, you listen to me in that championship game, listen to the one-on-one and say, okay, Darrell said these two teams, I must go the opposite way. I'm sorry. That's all I got. Let's get into those games. First game, we had AFC Championship, started at 3:00. It was actually a really nice day. At least it looked like a really, clear day in Denver. And then all of a sudden, the snow kicked in like second quarter-ish, and it just didn't let up until like late fourth. But by that time, the game ended up being the way it was. Final score on this one was 10-7. Patriots win. Now, the game started off with Jarrett Stidham coming out here looking like, okay, wait a minute. Nice little drive. They scored a touchdown. They were feeling like, pretty good. You could tell, like, I thought this was going to be, Denver's game. The Denver defense came up and did their thing initially, and New England couldn't get it going right off the bat. I mean, Drake May only had 86 yards passing in this game. That's it. He had 86 yards passing in this game, and the most of that was because of the snow. He went 10 for 21. They were very careful. New England was very careful taking care of the football because they just didn't want, not Denver, but New England, once they took the lead, they just wanted to take care of the football because they knew, hey, the Denver offense is not doing anything. We just have to hold on to this football and kill as much time as we can and hold on to the lead because our defense is doing enough, and the Denver offense wasn't doing anything. But Denver made one mistake in that game. They were up 7-0, and they were driving, and they were in field goal range. Now you got to remember, you got Lutz, who's a pretty solid field goal kicker. Then you got Stidham, who obviously had a great drive at the beginning, and you're probably thinking, oh, the snow's not going to be there. Or if they knew the snow was coming, they probably didn't think it was going to be this bad. They missed out on the opportunity. Decided to go on fourth down. This is today's NFL. They like to go on a fourth and short. The analytics say it's better to do, but they didn't take the points. And as we know now, it eventually cost them, because if you take those points, maybe it's going to change the dynamic on how New England approached the game once they did take the lead. And that was the mistake that Denver made. Bill Cowher said the beginning of the game on the broadcast for CBS and Paramount, he just said, hey, in these type of games, you get in a situation to get the points, you take the points. And he said that at the beginning of the game, and that'll always stick in my brain from this game, because I remember him saying it, and he was just like, "Hey," and I thought the same sentiment. So when they got in position to kick this field goal and decided to go for it, in my heart, I said that's going to cost them. I didn't know how, but it would, because eventually, when New England did finally score, and they were able to, once they did finally score, and they were able to, do what they needed to do, it was just like, it's pretty much over, and you could feel it. It was just crazy, and the only touchdown that they had in the game was a Drake May 6-yard run that tied the game at 7. And then somehow in those conditions, they were able to make a field goal, and that was enough. And the New England Patriots advanced to the Super Bowl for the 12th time. It's pretty impressive for this franchise, and leading up until like the 2000s, they had only made 2 Super Bowl appearances, and they lost both of them. They lost to the Bears and they lost to the Packers in those 2 Super Bowl appearances. So leading up to that, you didn't see that. And now, since 2001, since, the September 11th season, where they had to push everything back a year, they had the patriotic Super Bowl emblem, and which they don't make sweet emblems like that anymore. The NFL should probably go back to that, but that's besides the point. All that stuff. And they've been dominant. The last 25 years have been owned by the New England Patriots. So if you look at it, it's been 25, 26 years, and they've been to half of those Super Bowls, and they've won 7 of them. No, 6 of them. They won 6 of them. So they're obviously the best franchise in this century. And it's still early because we're only in 2025, so we won't know for another 75 years if that remains the case. Let's go to the NFC Championship game. In the NFC Championship game, we saw the Seattle Seahawks get the win, 31-27, which was actually a really good football game. We saw some really great play from Sam Darnold and Matt Stafford in this game. Matt Stafford went 22 for 35 with 3 touchdowns. Sam Darnold went 25 for 36 with 3 touchdowns. Both had 340 plus passing yards in this game. Darnold had 346. Stafford had 374. Kenneth Walker had a really good game. 19 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown. But he was doing a lot of good stuff and made some solid plays. Puka Nacua had 165 yards with 9 receptions and a touchdown. Jackson Smith-Njigba had 153 yards, 10 receptions, and a touchdown. Now, you look at these two teams, and you say to yourself, like, why were they so good? You probably look at it and just say, why were they so good? They were so good in this game. Like, watching how they came in, did what they needed to do. Both teams just fought hard to the end. The Rams had their chances, and they just couldn't pull it off. I was so close, y'all. I picked the Rams at the beginning of the season. I don't know if I'm going to go that route next season. I couldn't even tell you right now. It's so early. Once we go through all the postseason stuff and all season and draft and everything, then I can probably come up with a good idea. But I felt like this was it for the Rams. I'm not saying they can't do it next year, but I felt really good about them this year after their performance last year. And maybe it is next year. Stafford is older. He is, we'll talk about later, but he is the MVP of the league. So congratulations to him. It was just a lot. It was a lot of things. We had the best 2 receivers with Nacua and Smith-Njigba in this one. tops in receiving yards on both ends. And it was just a good game. It was a good NFC Championship game. And it was a good championship Sunday. I mean, despite what you may have felt about the Denver game, that was just a gritty football game. That's old school football at its best, between two good football teams. And then we saw a high scoring game in the NFC Championship game. So we had it locked and loaded, and there it was. And so the 1 seed and the 2 seed in the Super Bowl. Then we swing to a your boy's record. It hasn't been good. I went into that game 5-5, those games 5-5, thinking, look, if I could just win, if I win 2, I'm locked. If I can win 1, that sets me up for the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, I will finish the playoffs under 500. But I'm hoping today I get a win, But this championship game prediction curse is insane. 3 straight years? 3 straight years is crazy to me. And I am in pain that it keeps happening. But hopefully next year in Super Bowl 61 in LA, that this will change and I could give you something to smile about, people. That's all that, I could ever ask for, is just to try to make sure that I can make you guys smile on that end. Now, I kind of wanted to talk about the NFL honors and the class of 2026. It was a really good class, and it was really tough. A lot of people, there was some controversy because Bill Belichick didn't get in, which to me is insane. You can feel how you feel about the scandals or the 8-gate and all that stuff, but you can't tell me the winningest coach of all time, or close to winning, because he's number 2, but he's got the most Super Bowls. He's number 2 behind Shula, that he doesn't get in on first ballot. That's crazy. Shula was the first ballot. Chuck Noll was the first ballot, and Landry was first ballot. All the other coaches, and there's been some really good NFL coaches, didn't make it on the first ballot. That's got to change. When you look at a guy like Belichick and he's not in, that's crazy. Robert Kraft didn't get in. He was eligible for it. He didn't get in, and he's one of the most successful owners, if not the most successful owner in NFL history. And he doesn't get in. Now, he had some scandals too. Like, both guys had scandals, and maybe they're punishing him. Maybe they're giving him the Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens treatment, which I don't care what anybody says. They both deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Prior to whatever usage, they were Hall of Famers. So that's just my opinion. I may be wrong on that. You can feel that way. That's fine. I'm not going to be upset with you because of your opinion. Your opinion matters. My opinion matters. My opinion is they should be in. And in this case, Belichick and Kraft should be in. I mean, yes. If anything, yes, they made a dynasty and helped create the dynasty that people really dislike. But to me, how can you not have them in? But that is what it is. So who is in? Let's talk about it. My man Cody Rhodes, let's talk about it. First of all, Larry Fitzgerald, the legendary Larry Fitzgerald, gets in. Look, Larry, rarely missed games. Larry was in the top 5 in like all the major categories when he retired, and he probably could have played another 2 or 3 years and tried to make some leeway on that. But I mean, Larry Fitzgerald is what you want. He is the prototypical receiver. Obviously, unfortunately, he didn't get a Super Bowl ring, but that moment that he had where he almost got the Cardinals a Super Bowl when he made that big play in what Super Bowl was that? Was that Super Bowl 45? Ah, boy. Don't give me the line. I think it was either 44 or 45, but whatever one when they played the Steelers. No, because the Packers won Super Bowl 45, so it would have been 44. But he had that big play that looked like it was going to give the Cardinals and Kurt Warner another Super Bowl, and give the Cardinals their first Super Bowl and give Kurt Warner his second Super Bowl, but it just wasn't meant to be. He shut down the Packers one time in that playoff game where he in the overtime after the Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary. But Larry Fitzgerald is just one of the greatest receivers of all time. He was with his team the entire time, and you just got to give him respect for that. So shout out to Larry Fitzgerald. He's one of the Pro Football Hall of Fame inductees. Next, we got Luke Kuechly. Luke Kuechly was as good as they come at the linebacker position. People talked head over heels about him and what he was able to do as a linebacker. Some people say, how does this man get in before, this person, and so on and so on. Look, when it comes down to it, this man was one of the best linebackers in the game. I have no shame in him getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And Carolina Panthers fans would tell you in a heartbeat that this man deserves to be in, and nobody else can take that away from him. So shout out to Luke Kuechly and everything he's done. Next, we've got probably, if not the greatest kicker of all time, and that could be up for debate, but Adam Vinatieri gets in 4 Super Bowl wins, 3 as a Patriot, 1 as a Colt. And Vinatieri has had some of the greatest Super Bowl moments. He got 2 game winners in the Super Bowl, and then he had the one that gave them the lead, I think, if not. So he's got the golden foot when it comes to the Super Bowl. And he's done so many amazing things on that end. And he was with that Colts team that won the Super Bowl back when Peyton got his first ring. So shout out to Adam Vinatieri. It'll be hard to not give him the love that he deserves on that end. Next, we got Roger Craig. And then my man, Snowman from Snowman in the Morning, Brian Snow, me and him have talked about this many a time about Roger Craig and him getting into the, Pro Football Hall of Fame and knowing what the rest of his major teammates on that team were able to do, and for them not to at least give my man an opportunity to it took him all this time to get him in. I mean, the first person to have 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in a year, and he deserved to get in. And you can see the emotion on his face when they finally let Roger Craig into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It is long overdue. So shout out to Roger Craig. And I'm glad they did it for him in San Francisco. That has to make it extra special to be in front of that home crowd and get this love and opportunity. And last but not least, Drew Brees. Drew Brees gets into the Hall of Fame. It's well-deserved. And I think this is another reason why, ladies and gentlemen, we saw Phillip Rivers decide to come back, because he probably knew he wasn't going to get in this year. It would have been tougher next year. And this puts him on the pace that when he comes back, he should be the top quarterback in that class in 2032, 2031-ish. I think that's around that time frame. So he's got to wait another 5 years. So I think that will be something to see there. So shout out to Larry Fitzgerald, Luke Kuechly, Adam Vinatieri, Roger Craig, and Drew Brees for making the Hall of Fame. Now, on this next one, this is going to be a good one. Now, this graphic I have here is a little bit different, so you're going to still kind of see me in there a little bit. But NFL honors, MVP, Matt Stafford, right? Matt Stafford was out here doing his thing, having it look good. And, you got to give a shout out to Matt Stafford out there. This could have went Drake May's way. A lot of people felt like Drake May probably deserved the Super Bowl. There'll be some people that say that and feel that, and that won't, change the way those people feel about that. But seeing him, get the MVP to me was justified. Some people made fun of me about it, but whatever. So shout out to him for getting the MVP. We also saw Myles Garrett get Defensive Player of the Year. And, with him breaking the sack record, that makes complete sense. Carson Schwarzenegger, I could be destroying that, Defensive Rookie of the Year, also a part of that Browns defense. So the Browns had the Defensive Rookie of the Year and the Defensive Player of the Year on the same team, and they won 5 games. So that's got to change. And maybe Todd Monken, the newest head coach of the Cleveland Browns, will be able to do something about that. Also, we'll talk about that too. We also got Mike LaFleur, the new head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So, and then we saw Joe Brady go and get locked in for the Buffalo Bills, and Clint Kubiak will be more likely be the head coach of the Vegas Raiders once the Super Bowl is over today. I just wanted to make sure I threw that in there. The coach of the year, Mike Vrabel, much deserved. I mean, this New England team is back to the promised land, much to a lot of fans' dismay, but they are back, so shout out to them. Offensive Player of the Year, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Look, Njigba deserved every bit of this. I thought that he was going to get to the 2,000 mark. That would have been cool to see. But what a great season for the Ohio State prodigy. I still get mad at the fact that the team behind me didn't make the leap and pick him up in that draft. I'll never forgive them for that. But shout out to him. Then we have Tech McMillan, Tetarola. I'm not going to try to destroy that, but too much. Offensive Rookie of the Year really did a good job doing his thing for the Carolina Panthers this year and giving Bryce Young that weapon that was needed. Then we got Comeback Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey had a really good year. They should have never put him on the Madden cover, and he probably would have had 2 back-to-back great years on top of that. But what a great year for Christian McCaffrey and that 49ers team that was dealing with injuries all year long, and they still found a way to make things happen. And for the first time ever, Protector of the Year, Joe Tunney was the Protector Offensive Lineman of the Year, which I'm glad they're making this award because offensive linemen don't get no love at all. Also, I want to kind of read through some of the other ones that they have this year. Assistant Coach of the Year, Josh McDaniels, Offensive Coordinator for the New England Patriots. The Deacon Jones Sack Leader Award goes to Mal Garrett. The Art Rooney Sportsman Award goes to Buda Baker of the Arizona Cardinals. The Salute to Service Award goes to Christian McCaffrey. The FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year, Drake May, quarterback for the New England Patriots, Christian McCaffrey, 49ers running back, and Jackson Smith-Njigba are the FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year. Also, Walter Payton Man of the Year, and shout out to my guy, Bobby Wagner. I've always been a big Bobby Wagner fan. It's been the last couple of years to be able to cover him part of Bowie Television. It's been really fun to see a legend in person. Even at the age of 35, 36, he's was second in the league in tackles. And in this past year, he passed the 2,000 tackle mark. So he's, if he comes back next year, he's got a chance to leave the game as the all-time leader in that. So we're going to see how that kind of flows out there. Also, Next Gen Stats Moment of the Year goes to Caleb Williams in that game-winning Hail Mary touchdown pass to DJ Moore. Oh, my God, I don't even know why I read that. That makes me upset inside my spirit. Oh, man, that hurt my feelings a little bit. Well, those are all of the awards. There were some other ones for the high school awards, and so shout out to all the winners in those categories. All right, so now let's go to where we need to go, and let's talk about the Super Bowl. Let's give you the Super Bowl predictions and see how this goes. First, let's go with the rankings. So ranking, this is the easy one, probably the easiest power ranking I'll do all season, only because of where they are standing. Number one on the power rankings, the Seahawks. They were the number one seed in the NFC. This is why I went this way. And they are the NFC champions. Number two, the New England Patriots. They were the 2 seed in the AFC, and they won the AFC. So that is my reasoning behind the power ranking. Probably the easiest power ranking I will do all year long. Next, it happens today, 6:30, NBC and Peacock, the number one team in the NFC and the NFC champions, Seahawks, taking on number 2 seed, the New England Patriots, and AFC champions. This game is going to be, I think it's going to be a really, really good football game. I think, well, at least I'm hoping for a really good football game. I think that we got 2 teams that are 14-3, 2 teams that had really good defenses, 2 teams that have really, everything has worked. 2 solid quarterbacks, 2 really good head coaches. Vrabel, who's been around the game for a while as a head coach, coming from Tennessee, and then obviously going to New England back home, which is the perfect place for him to be. They would have done it last year, but they were trying to respect Bill Belichick and give Gerard Mayo a chance. I feel like Gerard Mayo personally didn't get a full chance to make things happen and get a second season, but maybe he'll get an opportunity somewhere else at some point. Fingers crossed, knees crossed, ankles crossed. Then you got Mike McDonald, who I was a really high opponent of when the Commanders were looking in their head coaching search. I was like, he was my choice because I just felt like he was a young gun that could really do some good things. And if you're going to go the route of a young gun, I felt like he was the one, not Ben Johnson. But obviously, Ben Johnson is doing great things in Chicago. And I still think that the Commanders got it right. Even though I wanted McDonald, having Dan Quinn there that first season to kind of get them back on the point. Tough year this year. I still think Dan is the right guy to help turn that thing around or get it back on track in Washington. But we'll see how that goes this season. But we got a game here where we're going to see Sam Darnold come in here after, bouncing around the league and people saying that he was this and saying he was that. He's got a chance to win a Super Bowl. And that very talented 2018 2018 draft that saw Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and himself and then also saw Baker Mayfield, who was the number one pick of that draft. And that draft was stacked, from top to bottom with talent. And so it is going to be something to see today. I really think it's going to be a good game. I am a little sad that people kind of like forgot about this game once we found out which both teams were in. They were like, look, this is not what we wanted. We were wanting something new, but we got something that has happened before. It's a rematch of Super Bowl 49. And in that Super Bowl where we saw Marshawn Lynch not get the football. And that question was asked a lot this week during media week. So I thought that was funny. They brought it up and they asked Coach McDonald during one of the media scrums during, I think it was the opening night. And they asked him, it's like, hey, if it's 4th and 1, are you handing it off? Or if not 4th and 1 of it, you're at the 1 yard line and you handing the ball off. And, he giggled about it. And I thought it was a really cool moment for the most part. But now Seattle has a chance to redeem themselves and try to win this Super Bowl and try to not rewrite history, but get a little revenge from Super Bowl 49. Maybe 11 years too late, but, we'll see. Now, most of America, according to ESPN, has this. They're 59.4%. They're picking Seattle to win this game, but I can't put anything past New England. I feel like New England there's something about it. Like I can't put my finger on it, but I feel like they could just find a way to win. Now, with that being said, I'm not picking New England to win this game. So that probably means congratulations to the New England Patriots. You are the Super Bowl champion. That's the one thing, like I feel kind of bad because I know that this is probably, what they don't want. Nobody wants to see New England win the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But for me, my prediction, I've got the Seattle Seahawks winning this one 26-29. And I know people are going to be so mad at me. I know people are going to be so mad at me depending on how this thing goes. I really could see people, beating me up about it. And I really hope that they don't. But I just understand it. I understand people getting mad at me to my bro, you got to be kidding me, right? Like there's no way you picked them to win this game. But look, there's just a vibe. I feel like the Seattle team has been through a lot this year, and they've done a lot of good things, and they've put themselves in a really good position to try to win this thing. So I think that as long as they, keep things on the up and up, they, go out there, they run the football well, they don't make any mistakes. They, and I know that could be anybody, but I feel like with this New England team, you can't afford to make mistakes. You have to be on top of your game if you want to win this Super Bowl. And it's vice versa. But just watching Seattle play this year, and I just feel like that they've been on a new thing, like on a new level. And this would be a nice little ending to the saga where Mike McDonald took all of the old replicas or all the old championship stuff down in the facility, and people weren't thrilled about it. But he did it to try to motivate this team to get to where they are now. And guess what? They're a win away. They're 60 minutes away from a Super Bowl. So for me, I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks to win this one 26-24. It should be a good game. I will say for my MVPs, I will say if New England is to win, I will say that more likely the MVP probably is going to be Drake May. I don't see it going outside of that. Maybe Travion Henderson if he has a day, but I feel like it goes that way. But it also has a weird feeling that this could be a defensive player Super Bowl win too. MVP win too. So we got to watch out for that. If Seattle wins, I'm going with Jackson Smith-Njigba as the Super Bowl MVP because he's going to have the game of a lifetime, or will have a game of a lifetime, I feel like. So we'll see how that goes. If not, it'll be between Njigba and Darnold. If it's on the defensive side, I'll say we'll go with Ernest Jones IV on the defensive side. For New England, if it's a defensive person on the New England side, this is tough. Oh man, y'all. I want to say, is it maybe Milton Williams? I don't know. That one's a little bit tougher on the New England side. Maybe Nico, the linebacker. Oh no, Robert Spillane. That's right. That can get my boys' names all mixed up. So I'll go Robert Spillane if that happens for New England. All right, everybody, that's it. Episode 200 in the books of 101. I hope you was able to stick around and hear me blabble for the last 36 minutes. But once again, I do want to thank everybody for all their love and support over the years for 101 and all the shout outs, all the interviews, all the, just everything. And, everybody who tunes in and pays attention to Legacy Maker Sports Network. I thank you all for that. My team, all the hard work from everybody on the team. It's just greatness. And so I appreciate you all. And here's to another 200. And I don't know how fast we get to another 200. It might be quicker than we got here. It took us 5 years, but I do want to thank everybody for being a part of it. We will be back more likely for the NFL draft. May do a show after free agency is kind of wind up there, just to kind of talk about where we've seen things. So you'll probably get a couple of episodes then. And then, of course, we won't be back after that until in late June, until July, as we get ready for our interview portion and season 7 of 101. We may come back next week, but more likely not. So I'm just going to be as honest with you as possible. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in. Episode 200 of 101 is in the books. We will see you all next time. And good luck to the Patriots and the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60.
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof.